sun peeks through the haze. Birds are chirping, serenading morning's praise. Front porch creaks as dreams fade away. America's awakened to a brand new day. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune. Day starts dancing under a sleepy moon. Newsprint smudges on fingers of grace. America's awakened at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup. Simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore. Morning in America, want just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune. Day starts dancing under a sleepy moon. Newsprint smudges on fingers of grace. America's awakened at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup. Simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore. Morning in America, wanting just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Tractors rumble, fields coming alive. Big wheels turning where hopes and dreams strive. Laughter echoes down the old dirt road. America's awakened to lighten her load. America's awakened to lighten her load.
Hey, good morning. This thing is not tracking me this morning. That's okay. Let's see who's here this morning. We've got Georgie. She was first. Good morning, bestie. And then we got Tammy and Nancy. Good morning. Good morning. Jessica. Good morning. We got Larry and Saucy. Good morning. We got Joan. Good morning. TC is here. You guys are perverted deplorables. Okay. Good morning, Hellhound. Good morning. All right. Good morning, guys. Good to see you. Good to have you here. Very interesting morning already. That's so we had Trump his order for the National Guard to be sent to Portland. We had that judge who said, no, you can't do that. Well, the Ninth Circuit Court stepped in and said, no, you can. So that is that's a big one, big decision. I'm not shocked by it. It was either going to be the Ninth Circuit or the Supreme Court was going to rule and overturn that injunction. Now these cases will probably take about a year. I don't think any of them will go to trial or anything. I think there's going to be more than enough stuff that when the circuit court starts showing you things like this, the judges are like, okay, I'm going to be embarrassed, so they back off. They tend to back off. Every once in a while, you get that one judge who doesn't want to back off, so that'll be interesting. Why is Rumble having a hard time this morning? Okay, there it goes. Okay. So yeah, that is some interesting stuff that's happening. And I did want to check. There we go. Make sure I'm just checking to make sure that we're going out good on X, and we are. Okay. So yeah, that was a big decision. Uh, Portland has been an issue for years now. Oh yeah, and that's they were trying to say in court. Oh, it was violent, but not anymore. It's like, oh no. Guess what? All those things of violence. It doesn't matter that they happened in June, July, and August. Uh, uh, what matters is that that's what Trump used to make his decision, and the president has that authority. I also saw where people were saying that Trump is demolishing the White House. No, he's not. They have opened up a wall on the White House because they're building a ballroom as an extension of the East Wing. Um, but like I was talking yesterday, the White House, especially the West Wing and the East Wing, like those aren't the more historical parts of the mansion. The West Wing, especially, is where all of the like work is done. That's where a lot of the workers who work actually inside the White House. Then there are some that work across the street, but the ones that work inside the White House, that's where they do their work. Um, so yeah, what I believe what they took out was the flower garden to build this ballroom. So this has been a plan in the works for a long time. This isn't like Trump just decided to destroy it. No, this has been a plan for a long time, and it's been proposed for many numbers of years. In fact, I would question, well, why doesn't the White House have a ballroom? So, and I'm sure it's going to have um, more, uh, what I'll say, more office space and stuff like that, and it's going to be modernized. Pray for peace for your brother. He's in hospice and end of stage care. We will pray for him. He's an army vet. Okay. 80 in South Florida. Yeah, it's gonna be 80 some today. Let me take a look. Here it's currently 60. It's gonna be 78 today. Coca-Cola is now switching back to sugar. No more high fructose corn syrup. So that'll be good. Here we can get Mexican Coke. Coca-Cola from Mexico. They sell it here in the stores. It's uh, still made with sugar, and it's really good. And they sell it at a little bit of a markup. The other reason is because it still comes in glass bottles. I remember that, like all the Coke and Pepsi and stuff coming in those long, tall glass bottles as a kid. So yeah, there was a U.S. Marshal and an illegal immigrant. They were shot during an ICE operation in Los Angeles. It happened in downtown Los Angeles during what the DHS described as a targeted traffic enforcement stop. And as we've discussed on this, if you live within 100 miles of the border, the um ICE can detain you for the purposes of determining your citizenship. So they don't need much. They don't need much. Um, Marshals had pulled the man over using a standard law enforcement procedure. The man then weaponized his vehicle and began ramming the law enforcement vehicle in an attempt to flee. For the safety of public and law enforcement, our officers followed their training and fired defensive shots. The man was shot in the elbow while attempting to flee from the scene and said the deputy was injured by a ricochet bullet. Both deputy marshal and suspect were transported to the hospital. So Again, that will be another one of those instances used to justify um, the National Guard here in California because protecting federal property and federal agents, the safety of federal agents, absolutely within the National Guard's, the president's authority to send the National Guard. And I find it interesting that the people who were saying that a lot of this stuff, I've been watching a lot of the videos coming out of the No Kings and a lot of No Kings protests, and a lot of the people were saying that he can't use ICE. They were actually using the same uh, rationale that Governor George Wallace used back in the 1960s to stop the National Guard coming into Alabama. I just found that very, very interesting. The big news out of the Jeremy Hales case is that the bankruptcy judge is accepting the motion to allow the bankruptcy back on. But however, Lynette has still not done her personal financial management class. I swear to God, she shoots herself in the foot every single time. Um, let's see, what else do we got here? Uh, we're now getting in the latter stages of the election in New Jersey and in Virginia, and so he got shot by his own people. He was shot by a ricochet, and that'll happen. Um, much like how Adam Kinzinger shoots journalists. But that one was stupid because that one was completely preventable. Who shoots at metal targets from 20 feet away? Uh, uh, an uh, amateur marksman is who does that. Um, but yeah, the what was I talking about here? Someone hit the White House security barrier. Like, do you think you're really going to get in a ricochet from his own people? Uh, yeah, most likely. But yeah, they were shooting at a vehicle. Man charged with stalking Wisconsin Chief Justice Jill Karofsky. Uh, Ryan Thornton, 37 of Racine, appeared in Dane County Circuit Court on Monday after being arrested by Wisconsin Capitol Police over a series of alleged threatening remarks aimed at Karofsky through dozens of phone calls and emails. According to the complaint, Thornton began sending emails to Karofsky in August, shortly after the Office of Lawyer Regulation rejected Thornton's petition for discipline against an attorney who represented him in another case for which Thornton was found guilty by a jury of domestic abuse related charges. Well, you're not really helping yourself there, Ryan. Prosecutors allege Thornton called the Office of Lawyer Regulations staff more than 70 times, at times making threatening comments to staff members, and at one point asking for Karofsky's home address. In the email, Thornton allegedly said, "Please eject yourself from office," according to the complaint. Um, when he was arrested, he kept saying, "That bitch is going down. F that bitch. Is this because of Jill? She's going down." Like, dude, you lost your domestic abuse. Making threats is not going to be good for you. I can't stand the quarterback BS. Well, about the thing. Well, I mean, the guy was fling. And but a lot of people keep treating the federal agents like they are your state enforcement. They are not. They are different. And what was the example? There was an example I was talking about yesterday. It wasn't on the show. It was what was it? And it was a case where um the like there was a federal case first, and it was something about it was one of these cases about search and seizure and when they can do certain things. But the federal agents were actually first held to a higher standard, and later on, that same thought process was later applied to this to state police. But before the before the Supreme Court ruling on the states, it was another example of where the feds have to follow different rules than the states. And that happens. Do they always come into alignment? No, not always. Uh, the Marines are probing firing of live artillery over California highway. I guarantee you, this is going to be found to be complete and total BS. I'm just looking through the story to see if there's anything new about it. The California Highway Patrol's Border Division Chief Tony Coronado, a Marine veteran, labeled the mishap an unusual and concerning situation, adding it's highly uncommon for any live fire or explosive training activity to occur over an active freeway. No, it's not. No, it is not. It happens all the time. Literally, like artillery goes over my house all the time, and we have an active highway right here. Pendleton, I actually knew a pilot, and I asked him what his call sign was, and his call sign was Toss. And he got his call sign from Pendleton because when an aircraft when it fires off a one of its missiles and it doesn't eject properly, they tell them to toss it, which is they pull up suddenly, and the force of the G force there, it actually pulls the missile out. So as the the aircraft is going up, the missile gets tossed out like this, and they call it tossing. And he had one that he was doing and tried to like eject, he fired off and it didn't eject properly. So he did that, he tossed, but he actually tossed it over the I-5, the same exact freeway they're talking in this case. I know a Marine in an aircraft that had done something similar. It did hit a safe impact area, but that maneuver was not authorized for where he was. He was supposed to go over the highway before he did that maneuver. But to say that this never happens, it happens all the time. All the time. The fleeing didn't get him shot at. He was battering his car against them. If he was merely fleeing, shooting is considered excessive. Um, well, if he's considered armed, I believe they can open fire. Again, it's federal, so it's a little bit they have different standards than state. Oh, that I appreciate you being here, Timothy. I really do. Um, but yeah, uh, it's not uncommon for a live fire to go over the I-5. There are things that they have to do, things that they have to look. There are safety standards they have to comply with. Absolutely. Yeah, and the highway patrol temporarily closed down a 17-mile stretch of the I-5 freeway as a precaution. See, and right there, that just tells you this was all coordinated by them. The Marine Corps didn't close the freeway, didn't request it closed. The highway patrol did. And all of a sudden, there's this aerial detonation, which never happens. Mhm. It it's all bullshit. But a CH patrol cruiser and motorcycle that had been assigned to Vance's security detail for his arrival and were parked at a freeway on ramp near the base during the event were showered by metal shrapnel when the first of 60 artillery shells that the Marines had planned to shoot over the freeway prematurely exploded in flight, according to California Highway Patrol incident report. A 2-inch wide chunk of shrapnel dented the patrol car's hood, and smaller pieces rained onto and around the motorcycle, but no serious damage was detected. Camp Pendleton did not immediately respond for a request for comment. Um, The White House said on X the Marines repeatedly said there was no public safety concerns with today's exercises. An official familiar with the situation said an investigation was underway and that the Saturday's aborted howitzer demonstration followed a test firing of 30 155 millimeter artillery shells the day before, though it was not made clear whether the October. See, so they've did it before. They've done it before, literally the day before. Though it was not made clear whether the October 17th rounds were shot over the freeway. If they're gonna do what they call a dry run, they're gonna do it they would, uh, exactly like they would, uh, on game day. Absolutely, they would. Good morning, Green Flamingo. Good to see you here. Yeah, I there is so much fishy about that. So much fishy. Like, there's gonna be a whistleblower that comes forward, guaranteed. Guaranteed. Arizona sues U.S. House for not swearing in Adlita Grijalva. Well, the Democrats they want this Arizona House member. They want her sworn in, but the Democrats also, are not willing to negotiate on this government shutdown. I wouldn't expect her to be sworn in either. The government shutdown, but simply claiming they feared he was dangerous absent the battering would get them ate up. Mm, potentially. I mean, they'll be under scrutiny for sure. Whether it's just like that one guy who threw the one woman to the ground. Well, that was like 3 weeks ago. They immediately suspended him. He was reinstated. Well, she had put his hands on him. Do I think what he was doing was excessive? Potentially, but she had already put her hands on him. And like she had hit him, she had pushed him, and I was like, yeah, the guy wasn't smart to do that in front of the cameras. Uh, but it's he's not. People are like, his job's over. No, his job's not over. He was reinstated. Now, will he be doing field duty? That would be the question. Um, where's my phone going off? Oh, and Paul's upset. Don't care. Interior Department's gonna cut 2,000 jobs. Oh, damn it! I forgot about this. Um, John Brennan was referred for prosecution by House Republicans for uh, lying to Congress about the investigation into whether Russia intervened in the 2016 election. Yeah, yeah, that was always going to come with Trump winning. This was always going to happen. And anyone who's saying, "Oh, he's manipulating," no, 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 this was always going to happen. Um, Crossfire Hurricane was a bullshit investigation. Um, and yeah, when you do stuff like that, you're gonna get found out. And I'm glad that they're finally prosecuting these guys. Um, the Steele dossier is largely discredited series of intelligence reports. Yeah, we know that it was false. And rather than do that, they were putting stories in Yahoo and I believe the Washington Post, and then saying, "Oh, see, these places believe us." No, you got a journalist to report the story, and then you use the fact that they were reporting on that story as justification. That's not how this works. Uh, uh, bu- 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 Brennan eagerly wanted to include information from the Steele dossier in the intelligence community assessment, a fact Brennan himself documented in writing. Um, Brennan, who was not immediately available for comment, has denied wrongdoing, especially in his role in helping lead a sprawling multi agency investigation into whether Russia meddled in the 2016 election. Um, the Steele dossier was shared with the FBI near the end of the 2016 presidential campaign, and the summary of its allegations ultimately was tacked onto a U.S. intelligence community assessment about the Russian interference as an appendix. The intelligence report was ordered by Obama after Trump was elected in 2016. Yeah, once Trump was elected, they should have just left all this alone. Into widespread response but in the years since, especially since Trump's election in the second term, it has spurred accusations by Trump and his supporters that the report was a coordinated effort to weaponize U.S. law enforcement and intelligence agencies. Remember when Trump said they're listening, they were spying on me at Trump Tower, and everybody was like, "Oh, he's out of his mind." No, that was true. It really happened. Um, A bipartisan 2020 report by the Senate Intelligence Committee found evidence that Russia did work with influence the election, but it did not successfully manipulate any votes. But it did not work with the Trump campaign, which is the point. Like, do I think Russia was trying to meddle? Yeah. Do I think China was trying to meddle? Yeah. I think Israel was trying to meddle. Do I think any of them were working with any campaigns? No. At least not knowingly. Uh, Concerning those other two. Uh, as far as Russia goes, we know that they weren't working with anyone in the campaign. And everyone who says, well, Paul Manafort turned over, Paul Manafort was doing that work with that company before he was brought onto the campaign. Paul Manafort, and a lot of people in MAGA don't like Paul Manafort today. Paul Manafort was brought in because there were people like Ted Cruz and a few others who were saying that they were going to go to the RNC convention and they were going to try to get electors who had uh, previously committed to Trump to switch their votes and make a fight on the party floor. And Paul Manafort is the only person that had the experience in a party floor fight previously. That's why Manafort was brought in. The only reason. It was nothing to do with um, any type of uh, loyalty to Trump. In fact, I don't think he's loyal to Trump at all. But I do think he didn't want a Republican floor fight, and that's why he was brought in. Uh, but he was doing work with those agencies way before that. So for him to pass along, it's polling data, okay? It was just internals to polling data. It really doesn't help with meddling in election. It might give you an idea which way the wind's blowing, how people feel. Might give you ideas on what to focus on if you're trying to mess with people. But like it really is. It really doesn't. It wasn't like a game changer, and it's definitely was not the collusion that they said. You realize the Steele dossier was trying to say a lot of different things. It said that Michael Cohen was in uh, uh, Budapest working with Russian agents, and that's one part of the Steele dossier we know is 100% false because there's pictures. Was at his daughter's UCLA graduation. He was not working with Russian agents. like Russian spies. And this is what they were trying to say and were trying to use. Just don't say anything about the Clintons. uh, so yeah, like, but they were trying to use this against Trump, and they included it in intelligence reports. It's not verified intelligence. Um, but they were trying to make conclusions based off of it, and they were trying to get President Obama at that time to make decisions based off faulty intelligence. Like, and they could have, like, do you know how easy that would have been to okay, well, we have dates and times that they're making claims for Michael Cohen. Like, there was a Michael Cohen who went to Budapest, and they know that because they can track who goes in and out on passports. When was the passport scanned? They can track that. Oh, it's a different Michael Cohen. Doesn't even have the same middle name. So there you go. Debunked. Why would you take that Steele dossier and keep using it? And at least not say, okay, this is highly suspect. Um, Brennan is one of the many former Obama appointees, including top intelligence officials, that Trump himself and his appointed law enforcement and intelligence leaders have vowed to investigate and prosecute for unsubstantiated wrongdoing in connection with the Russia probe. Yeah, we have the FBI agents. We have their text messages stating that they were doing everything to stop Trump. Like, what else do you need? That's on a government phone. Like, these guys were not smart on how they did this. Which this is why when people bring me conspiracy theories that involve the government, 90% of the time I will write it up to them being stupid. You had two lawyers. Those FBI agents, they were lawyers texting each other political stuff on government phones. Like, have I had a government issued phone before? Yes. What did I text on it? Only work related stuff. Only work related stuff. Like, just them texting that personal stuff on a government phone is a violation. It is. So sick of people denying they tried to ruin Trump. I don't like his fake ass. I know the deep state tried to destroy him. Oh, absolutely. And it they continued their stuff through his first uh administration, and they continued it through Biden. And guess what? Now there's their time of reckoning. Sorry. All these people, he's going after his enemies. Well, his enemies went after him. You should expect him to go after you. Yeah, and that's not a problem. You did this. You created this. Um, uh, uh, I'm looking to see. Oh, Comey. Yeah, Comey's legal team. Oh, yeah, there's conflict of interest there. So he actually may have to get new lawyers. I do find that funny. Like, oh, but it just goes to show you, it's a good old boy network, and that should not be in our federal government. Let's see. What else is going on out there? There's a poll. It shows Trump's disapproval is worse than Biden. Let's see what this poll. American Research Group, ARG. 60% disapproval of his handling of his job. Yeah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a bit. Because here's the thing. I don't know many Republicans who are upset. I guarantee you that would be if without even I'll look at that poll later, but I guarantee you when I go into the Eternals, you're gonna find yeah, uh, 55% of the people in that poll voted for Harris. Well, okay, well, Harris didn't win, so now you're admitting that you have a 5% skew. Because here's the thing, when there's a poll, let like let's say if was conducting a poll about Trump, and I got in my sample size 55% of the people admitting that they voted for Harris, that would be at least a 10-point skew. And why do you say that? Most people do not admit to being on the losing side. So Kamala lost by, she had what, 48%? So 48% in a good, like in a perfect sample would be what you would get. But even that would probably be a little bit skewed. I would expect it to be about 46 to 45 because there are people who once they're whoever they voted for, they lose, they won't admit that they did that with a loser. Now on the flip side, I would expect the people who said they voted for Trump because he won, people to admit a little bit more. So you'd expect to be like 53 or 55%. And really, what you do is you take that sample and then you adjust the internals. It's called weighting. And there's other ways that you want to weight for uh, different factors. But, I guarantee you, like, whenever I see these polls and I start looking into it, there are certain things that's like, okay, that's way over what it is. Like, they'll oversample college educated. So, college educated people are leaning right now more like voting for Democrats. Working class are heavily favoring Trump. And so you have to look at the sample size. And that's why they oversample. So let's say if I were doing a national poll, I would probably talk to like over 1,500 people. And then I would weight the sample down. And I would weight the sample down not based on the results, but based upon the demographics. If the Democrats refuse to kiss the ring, government will never open. No, I don't believe that at all. The government will open. I've always said this is a political thing. Once you see the polls, and the polls are starting to move on the shutdown. One and I'm already hearing rumors that there's talking, like, behind the scenes talking. What's the chance Comey hired him to interfere with testimony? Hired who? Because we know, Strzok and Page, we know what they were doing was illegal. And they were working, like, Strzok and Page were working with Comey. Like, that is not a very far thing. Now, Brennan, that's a little bit harder, a little bit longer of a thing, but I guarantee you once they start getting convictions, a lot of these people are gonna and I think there's more like John Bolton, there's gonna be more than enough to convict him. He is going to take a plea deal. I have zero doubts because they have his family dead to rights, and they can go after his family. Pretty much, Trump can do to Bolton what they did to General Flynn, and General Flynn did not do anything wrong. Oh, he was talking with Russia. It's a violation of the Logan Act. Okay, first off, the Logan Act, the constitutionality of it has not really ever been challenged. But yeah, Strzok and Page, yeah, it doesn't matter. He can still be prosecuted under the Hatch Act. The only way he doesn't is if he has what's the term? If the statute of limitations. I don't know what the statute of limitations is on the Hatch Act. If it's 10 years, then he's beaten out the statute of limitations. But he can still be compelled to testify. And if he lies or refuses to testify, then he can be prosecuted for that. He just lost his lawsuit. He had a wrongful termination lawsuit, and he lost. It was like, yeah, You were always going to lose that, dude. The one who should be worried is Jack Smith. Jack Smith was the prosecutor who went after Trump during the Biden administration, and he was illegally appointed. He's the one that needs to worry right now because yeah, he'll be the next one. And uh, when he's indicted, oh, Trump's going after his. He was always going to be indicted. With Harris losing, like if Trump were to die tomorrow and Vance were to take over, he's still getting indicted. Uh, Talking about Venezuela. Let's see. What is this? There's a lot of shitty news out there today. Oh my God. Some of these stories that they're running, it's like, why do you care? Like some of them are just bullshit. Proud Boys should be deputized to hunt migrants, says GOP candidate. That's funny. It'll never happen, but that is funny. Does Earth have two moons? No, there is a satellite right now orbiting the moon, but we do not. It's going to eventually fly out into space. It's cool that it's there, and it's really hard to see. Good morning, Mr. Coop. Wasn't Smith the guy that obtained subpoenas to spy on sitting congressional members' cell phones? Yes, he was. And how are people not upset about that? But when he gets indicted, they're going to be like, "Oh, this is Trump going after him." He was spying on political opponents. That is one thing that the last two administrations, like the last two Democrat administrations, they both were spying on political opponents. That is a huge, major problem. Huge. And why people are not more upset about that, I don't know. That's a lot of the news there. This isn't a slow news day, but it's a shitty news day. Like a lot of the stuff that they are doing, it's like a lot of these stories just suck. Musk rages at official over loss of government contract. Why are you gay? Who cares? Who cares? Latest blow for struggling Vegas is virtual arcade files for bankruptcy. Who cares? Like so many of these stories are just stupid. Let's see what Politico has. How John Bolton's criminal case stacks up to other high profile classified docs probes. Okay. Bolton's predicament echoes inquiries that resulted in criminal cases against President Donald Trump, former CIA directors David Petraeus and John Deutsch, former National Security Advisor Sandy Berger, as it resurfaces persistent questions about fairness in the handling of similar probes that haven't produced criminal charges, including investigations into former President Joe Biden, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, and several members of Trump's cabinet. Here's the thing that's different about Trump with all of these. Trump was authorized to take documents. Hillary Clinton was not. Joe Biden, the documents he had were as VP. He was not authorized. Like when you are an outgoing president, the stuff that you have classified, you can take with you. Now, it has to be kept within a secure facility. And people were like, "Oh, they were in Mar-a-Lago in a bathroom." Where was the bathroom? Was it in? Because I'll tell you this, the Secret Service did build a secure facility at Mar-a-Lago. Was the bathroom within that secure facility? I've worked in a SCIF. We had a bathroom within our secure facility. So technically, we could have stored documents in there. Would it have been smart? No. But we still did. But if you're at a limit as to where you can put stuff, I guarantee you they would have said, "Okay, well, we'll put locked cabinets in there and keep them locked." Because you meet the physical security check mark. Now, Biden, he shouldn't have had those documents. They were in his garage. I guarantee you the garage was not was not a secure facility. Guaranteed. Biden student forgiveness is a full go. So yeah, winning for the working class blue collar types. Uh, so I did see something about that. I didn't read into it too far, but I heard that yeah, that they're trying to uh, forgive the student loan forgiveness. So I'll have to read up on it, but I can't say for sure what it is. There's a lot of nuance to that. Like, are they forgiving the full debt? Are they forgiving the interest? Is it only government backed loans? Stuff like that. Is the garage very doubtful vet firefighter? Very doubtful. The DOJ investigation into Minnesota voter fraud. No, I have not read that one. I do like reading those voter fraud cases because there's for something that I've been told many times doesn't happen. Oh, I can give a lot of examples of it happening. And see, they get away with a lot of it, and I don't think it's as massive of a problem that a lot of people on the right will claim it to be. It is a problem, but it's more of a problem in your big cities, LA, LA, Detroit, Chicago. Those are the ones that I can tell you right now. If you were to if they were to finally let a court case go through in those, what you're going to find is ballot stuffing. Uh, and we kind of had this in 2017 because Jill Stein sued over the election in Detroit because, again, she's a third party candidate. Third parties have to hit a certain minimum of votes so that they can remain on the ballot. That's why she was suing. Okay. It wasn't, she never thought she was going to win. People are like, she's not going to win. Like, she got 1% of the vote. No, she was trying to show that she would not need to pay all these exorbitant costs the next time she runs, or at least the Green Party wouldn't, because their candidate received over a threshold. But because they were ballot stuffing in Detroit, uh, they were diluting that. So she sued about all those ballots. And what they discovered is more people voted in Wayne County than had been registered. Now, Detroit and Chicago, these are the places where once people die, they keep them on the voting rolls. Why? So then they can stuff a ballot and say, "Oh, that person voted. That's a dead person." Well, we got a ballot from them. That's what ballot stuffing is. But yeah, they started to discover. So immediately, then the Democratic Party said, "Okay, okay, okay, we're going to settle this out of court. We'll pay all your fees to get on the ballot the next time." And then that case went away. And that's what happens. It doesn't happen everywhere. Uh, but it'll happen in somewhere like I could see it. I know it happens in those three: Detroit, Chicago, LA. Like they have full reign. No one's like even if you were to bring a lawsuit, you're going in front of a judge where they can do that stuff. Uh, Now, is it happening in many of these other places? And it's funny because Detroit in that election, that was the place where people were watching them count ballots and they were putting the paper up over the glass wall. It's like, why would you ever do that? Why would you ever do that? Well, we don't want people to say, why? Why do you not want people to see? And yeah, people should be allowed to watch them count ballots. It's a government process. There should be no secretive government process unless if it's dealing with national security and classified material. I don't have an issue with forgiving student debt when obtained to attend facilities shut down as fraudulent full sale. Um, there's a lot of issues with the student debt. Um, there is. Um, I'm looking back here at Bolton's case. All they're talking about. Okay, so they're just they're saying that this is about Bolton, but really it's just about those past cases. North Korea has fired a ballistic missile towards the east. The Arizona Attorney General suing for the failure of that House seat. I guarantee you that is going to get that case is going to get dismissed for lack of standing because he's suing on behalf of voters, Arizona voters. But yeah, no, like the voters can sue. That's what the court will say. Discuss the apparent disagreement on the Graham factors. You'll have to remind me. Oh yeah, yeah, exactly, TC. How you got treated. Yep, for doing something completely legal. Let's see what else. They're all mad about this Trump appointee with quote unquote racist text, but literally the people upset. There's a Democrat nominee in Virginia who wasn't just like I believe his texts were racist because he was talking about a white guy and he was a black guy, but was calling for the death of his children. Like, so spare me that you're upset about racist texts. Like, I don't think he was saying that anybody should be killed. Kids have accumulated hundred thousands of debt only to discover it was a scam generated out of California. Full Sail was in Orlando. Okay. I didn't know about that. But yeah, if there was a scam going on, yeah, they should be going after the people who allowed it. Um, okay. So yeah, that's pretty much all the stuff that's happening. Oh, okay. Oh, I love how people who like their lives are in complete and total disarray, have a shit ton of animals. And then, well, I can't find a house because I've got 2 huge dogs. Yeah, you're gonna pay more. The bigger you're gonna pay more having animals, and the bigger the animals, you're gonna pay even more. This is not, you know, and I'm just saying because someone's posted in my local group on Facebook about it, like looking for a house, must be able to take, and I'm 2 big dogs, and you want to bet that they're pit bulls? There's a reason why pit bulls are the official dog of kennels everywhere. I got people. Wow, people send me a bunch of stuff. But yeah, and it's always people who just cannot. What do I say? Cannot run their own life, and you see, it's mainly a problem of women who will say this next thing, which is, "Oh, I pay my bills." Like that's some type of flex. Like, no, you're supposed to pay your bills. You are supposed to pay your. That is called being an adult. And I don't like it. I don't like that people call it adulting. It's no, it's the bare minimum that you have to do in your life. Bare minimum. Minnesota Department of Family and Youth announced no food stamps until government shutdown has ended. Yeah, it's because state food stamp program, just like Medicare, state food stamp programs operate off of federal subsidies and rely on them. So people who are like, oh, illegals uh, don't get any uh, federal tax money. Yes, they do. If your state is giving them Medicaid, or not Medicaid, Medicare, if they're giving them Medicare, your state Medicare is also getting federal subsidies. So yes, it is being subsidized, 100%. Always, and the dog doesn't deserve to live in the chaos either. Totally, totally agree. Totally agree. But yeah, and it's like it's this. It just shows bad decision making. And then uh, all the people who will tell me that, like, I'm in favor of if you have a pit bull, yeah, you should pay more insurance. You should absolutely pay more. And all the people who disagree with me on that, I'm like, okay, so you like pit bulls? Yeah. Uh, did you rescue it from a shelter? Because I'm guessing you probably didn't. Shelters, like, go into any area and look at the shelters filled with pit bulls. But yet I'm the asshole. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and end this because, yeah, I talked about a lot of the stuff I wanted to, and yeah, kind of a slow day. I will be watching Georgie and Coop later. I will not be on with them. I I have to make a drive. I have to make a drive. But yeah, so I will be listening. I might be in the chat, but I definitely will be listening. But yeah, you guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all of your questions, comments. Please hit the like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff on your way out the door. Thank you for being here, and as always, thank you for being worth serving.
Coffee brewing as the sun peeks through the haze. Birds are chirping, serenading morning's praise. Front porch creaks as dreams fade away. America's awakened to a brand new day. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune. Day starts dancing under a sleeping moon. Loose print smudges on fingers of grace. America's awakening at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup. Simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore, morning in America, want just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise, kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine, America's awaking with a heart full of shine. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune, day starts dancing under a sleepy moon. Newsprint smudges on fingers of grace, America's awaking at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup, simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore, morning in America, want just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise, kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine, America's awaking with a heart full of shine. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise, kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine, America's awaking with a heart full of shine. Tractors rumble, fields coming alive, big wheels turning where hopes and dreams strive. Laughter echoes down the old dirt road, America's awaking to lighten her load. Ooh, America's awaking to lighten her load.